welcome to another edition of What the Fuck Happenings here in Mendham. Yes, in the modeling space that is in Mendham, the little fake world in which I live in. We all just attempt to, well, we don't really attempt to, that's the problem. The idea is to use your brain to accurately understand the territory around you and to run a model of it in your head to be able to figure out what's a good idea and a bad idea. It's kind of like, first people tried to fly, by gluing feathers on themselves and stuff, and they should have been able to model in their head that, you jump off the cliff and you flap your arms, but there's no way you're going to create enough because you're really heavy, birds are really light, you're going to fall and die. They should have been able to model that. Figure out, don't jump off a cliff. Jump off smaller things first, like out of a small bush or something. You'll see that it ain't working too good. But anyway, so yes, it's just a model. We all live in a model of reality. Because really you can't live in reality because it's far away. Everything's way over there and way over there, and especially the world we live in. The banksters are way over there, and the lying politicians are way over there, and everything. We don't really live in it. We just live in our perception of it. So that had me thinking. So I saw another fake Sagan video where he was doing his Christian thing, but it's sort of the theme of people believing things for the wrong reasons, doing the right thing for the wrong reasons, kind of stuff, lying, it's just kind of ugly. And that kind of gets to the vegan argument, because there are vegans who are just vegans because they personally benefit from it. And that's it. There's people who don't have kids merely because they don't want kids, which is fine, but it doesn't have any philosophical value. It's not a person who's really on your side. They just happen to be walking down the road the same time your army is walking down the road, and so they're just, oh yeah, hi, they're part of your army sort of, but not really on purpose. They don't have a gun, and they don't plan on shooting anybody, and they don't plan on doing anything. So they just look like they're on your side, but they're really not. And that is a problem. I don't know if it's a big problem. It just gets in the way, kind of stuff. I've talked about this before. It's, part of me says if you're going to have a war, the first people to kill are the indecisive assholes. Can't pick a side. Just kill them first. So you just get in the way. The fence walkers just ruin your line of sight. So, kill them. Because usually most of these things are going to be pretty obvious. Right and wrong side of the fence kind of thing, and the fence walkers are just assholes. But anyway, don't know if that has any deep meaning. So I don't know how much you can make out of this subject, really. It's just part of the frustration of dealing with people and attempting to come up with common elements to our models, because I guess once we have some common elements, then we can have common expectations about what you're going to do with those elements. And you could argue that so many people that are so unreasonable in what they believe. You see it, in the physics conversations. People have no understanding of any of the details, any of the nuances, and they're just totally convinced, because somebody says so, and they just trust them, that they know because, whatever, they got the right pair of glasses on, and they look nerdy enough to know. So I'll just assume they know what they're talking about. And, that's just very dangerous. Again, it's believing for the wrong reasons. You don't believe something because you think an authority, is somehow competent. This assumption, that people are made competent by merely even being intelligent, right? There's this perception that somehow intelligence makes people smart. And it really doesn't. Having information is good. Having a lot of knowledge is good. But if you don't know how to organize it, it's useless. If you don't know what cabinets to put it in, if you don't have proper categories and reasoning skills in terms of being able to tell bullshit from the real shit, doesn't do you any good. It's just you're going to just do that right for the wrong reason thing, and then when there's a real good reason to do something, you're not going to be there because you're not going to have the reasoning skills to know it's the right reason. So I don't know how you fix this beyond maybe attempting to go step by step through the procedures. Like Fake Sagan's not a dumb man, but he seems to have an expectation that intellectuals would be agreeable to Christianity on a fundamental level. Like they actually would believe all the stories in the Bible, and they actually would say, oh yes, it's verbatim God's word, and they'd be fundamentalist. Where there's just no chance that an intellectual is going to be a fundamentalist, because there's too much in the Bible that's contradicted by reality, by evidence. And so they'd have to be a modified Christian, where they just have some idea that, oh yeah, Jesus was a good person. Okay, maybe he's not the Son of God. Maybe there is no God, but all this Jesus stuff is kind of nice, and it's all touchy-feely, lovey-lovey, so let's go with that. Some of these themes are pretty good. Do unto others, have others do unto you. Sure, that's cool. Don't throw stones if you live in glass houses, kind of bullshit. Sure. He without sin, throw the first reckless accusation. It's so you could say, yes, an intellectual could say, oh yeah, religion is good for people because it somehow makes them more ethical or more moral. When there's sin, and then that's another intellectual fallacy. There's just no evidence of this bullshit. That somehow religion makes good people. I've seen no evidence of it. No statistical data that demonstrates it. Clearly, people don't have any philosophy are probably criminals. Okay, but they're just retarded. So yes, they're psychotics. You can't blame atheism. Let's say you shouldn't have to say, oh yes, the psychotics are in our club. Well, that's not fair. Because they don't really have a philosophy. They don't have any. They're just talking to dogs and shit and thinking they can fly and do all kinds of weird shit, thinking they're Son of God. Hardly atheists, hardly rational. So I mean, it's not our fault. It's not atheism's fault that there's complete lunatics and imbeciles who can't even do enough reasoning to choose a philosophy. So they're not atheists for the right reasons. They're atheists by default because they're too stupid to pick a philosophy. They're not atheists because they thought about all the possible philosophies and chose one over another one. They didn't make a reasoned choice. So they're not really part of the club. But anyway, so Fake Sagan's expectation that, like I said, that any intellectual would be able to defend Christianity is kind of silly, except defended as a, well, let's control the ignorant masses with it. Let's use it to manipulate people's psychology. Let's make them less dangerous and more harmless by giving them a silly delusion to scare them by. Let's scare them with a silly delusion so they'll try to walk upright and not be complete baboons. But that's almost a malicious abuse of the religion. So I can understand his contempt or his finding that disagreeable, but he's got to understand that that's all he's going to get. There's nobody with a rational, reasoning mind could possibly accept a silly fable. I mean, there's no more evidence of God than there is Puss in Boots. It's a fairy tale. It's a silly little story. What's reasoning? What person with any kind of reasoning skills falls for that UFO nonsense? truther nonsense. I mean, it's the biggest truther story ever, you know, biggest conspiracy theory ever. Oh, the big God cover-up. You know, there's lots of evidence of God. It's CIA stole it. You know, come on. I mean, it's just so bad. That yeah, how can somebody has any kind of capacity to reason and put facts together? How can they put the facts together and say there's any kind of strong evidence for this silly story? And, you know, unless they have some psychotic episode. So unless they have some personal experience, like, you know, they think they really did talk to aliens, like they had a dream or a lucid dream or something, and they're just convinced it was reality and they really did talk to aliens. Maybe there's people who think they really talked to Jesus, or that God really did fix their life, or they had some coincidence and they say, oh, God saved me from stepping on a crack and breaking my mother's back. I mean, it's clear, it was obvious I was going to step on the crack, and it's just clearly obvious my mother's back isn't broken, and it's God saved my mother from having a broken back. I mean, come on. Adults shouldn't fall for that. They should understand what coincidences are and that they're inevitable in your life. You're gonna have things that happen every now and then, right? You're rolling dice all day long, all frickin' day. You got like Yahtzee dice in your hand, and you're throwing them all day long. You're throwing dice, throwing them all over the frickin' place. And every now and then, those dice are gonna stack up, you know, and make a little pyramid or something. And you're going to say, that's impossible. How the hell could that happen? Well, of course it's going to happen, because you're throwing dice all day long. So yeah, every now and then something's going to happen in life that's just too frickin' bizarre. But it's really not. It's just an inevitable event. You know, coincidences will happen. You'll have some in your life. You'll have moments in your life where, whoa, that was strange as fuck. It's inevitable. We can reason and know this, and people take it like, no, it must be God. No, it mustn't not be. You know, it's inevitable you're going to have some experience that's going to feel that way, but it's not going to be that way. So you're going to end up believing something for the wrong reasons. You're not going to be reasoning. And this is something, like I said, this is stuff you sort of pick up as a kid. You know, you sort of learn how fallible your senses are. You know, you hear somebody on TV and he sounds really smart and he sounds like he really knows what he talks about, and then the next week you find out, you know, he's working for the CIA, he's a liar and this and that, and you say, gee, my judgment sucked, because I would have let that guy be my big brother or something. I thought he was a really nice guy. You know, where we find out how frail our judgment is, and how dominant our bigotries are, and that they're there. You know, whether we like them or not, they're there, and they try to rise to the surface now and then. Our prejudices do show up, and you know, we get the feel for that and get some understanding of how you got to be kind of careful about, you know, jumping to conclusions, because your conclusion jumper is you know, sometimes not too bright. So you got to keep an eye on, you know, that kind of stuff, and be aware of it. So when you feel yourself trusting somebody, you got to say, wait a minute, you've done that trust thing before and it hasn't worked out a few times, so you got to get a little more solid evidence, a little more evidence, because you know that you've been wrong. You know you've been wronged, so you can't trust. So you got to be a little careful. And, you know, this is just part of logic. And so, again, I just don't... What compels fake Sagan? You know, like I said, somebody who is reasonably informed. So he has a body of knowledge. And how he can take those facts and pervert them into, somehow the facts indicate I should believe in a fairy tale. You know, the American fairy tale, not the Muslim fairy tale. Well, it's the Russian fairy tale, actually. You know, he's a Russian Orthodox Christian. So I should pick this particular version of the Christianity, the one that was cut out between, you know, 1200 and 1350. You know, that one, the one that was written then. That's the Christianity I should cut out and say, yeah, that's the right one. How the hell do you do that rationally? It's just, it's just silly. I mean, you're just saying, what is he really? He has a thing for, you know, silly Russian men with long beards and robes or something that walk around with smoking urns and go blah 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 blah. Everything will be all right. Blah 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 blah. You know what? You know, he likes the architecture. You know, big things on big walls or something. Is that what impresses him? Big cathedrals. You know, it's so Jesus-like, the big cathedrals. You know, it's just, it just can't make any sense. And so he falls back on the, well, I was raised Catholic, so apparently that's all you need to do is just say, Mommy said so, and I love my mommy. Well, I'd like to punch her in the face, but I loved her. I mean, I can't go visit her because I'd hit her, but yeah, I loved her. Maybe. Kind of. It just doesn't make any sense. I just, you know, how does that happen? So you see this with all kinds of intellectuals going in all kinds of wacky directions, you know, believing in chemtrails or thinking global warming is a leftist conspiracy. You know, they just want to take away my SUVs, and, you know, for no good reason except petty resentment. They resent my big car. And they have no other agenda. They just want to force me to drive a tricycle or something. I mean, it's just, it can't make any sense. And you're just, you know, the fact that they can't even get the truth right, you know, the facts add up to something, and the fact that they can't add up the facts themselves to figure out, oh yeah, there is sort of a real problem here, and then come up with some bizarre reason why people are seeing the problem, like somehow their eyes are broken, and they're bent because, you know, they can't possibly understand, yeah, you know, and they're just resentful, and they just want to, they're using these environmental facts to attack, you know, and force you to wear whatever, you know, the starched collars and bow ties or something. I mean, fuck, crazy shit. And then, you know, you see people just gravitate to this stuff. Any conspiracy theory will do. I mean, the whole Alex Jones crapola. What is that? It just doesn't, it just can't make any sense. Silly, you know, way over the top nonsense. And people will say, yeah, well, it's close enough to a truth. It's just a few shreds of evidence. My Alex wouldn't believe it if it wasn't true. Something like that. I don't know. That's another thing Fake Sega defends is Alex Jones. And so that's another, you're saying that's almost the second religion, right? I mean, he's got the first wacky, crazy Catholic thing. But then to think Alex Jones is a prophet of truth, or that he somehow understands how any system in America works, is just preposterous. The guy, he couldn't row a boat straight. I mean, he can't take. What are you talking about? How does this? How do you think this guy has any clue how anything real works? I don't think he couldn't bake a plate of brownies. The guy is he's incapable of following, you know, rational steps of logic. Even if he read them on the box, he'd still fuck it up. That's how people follow that. How do they fall for this shit? You know, oh yeah, the government's got coffin with your name on it already. Yeah, and the special coffin warehouses. You know, National Guard's gonna come and, you know, give you a gun and then take it away from you, and then put you in a coffin. Yeah. Why is that again? You know, and they're going to put their own family in the coffins too. All the soldiers are going to go arrest their family and put them in coffins. Yeah, that's sure, that's plausible. Yeah, I can see that happening. Sure. Just amazing. So, yes, it is just dismal. So this is what intellectuals are doing. So that's my point. All right, let's not call Fake Sega an intellectual. I mean, he claims to have 100 and whatever 40 IQ or something, so I guess he's supposed to be intelligent or something. But I'm just saying, look what they're doing. Look what the intelligent people are doing with their freaking brains. I mean, they're just turning them into complete screwed up mush. So it's like, oh, well, so intelligence won't save you. Intelligence isn't like the vitamin pill. It's not like the penicillin. It doesn't give you immunity from imbecility, apparently. The idiocracy can still grow with intelligence. It can use whatever knowledge, and it just will ignore the facts that it doesn't like, and it'll just gravitate to the ones it's dependent on. Well, I have to revert to my childhood shell of ideology, because I can't make sense of the world as it's changed or something. I don't know. Maybe that's what they're doing. Some kind of, I have to run to my childhood to escape the fact that a mature perspective is kind of dismal and gray and smells like vomit. And yeah, that's true. I mean, it's no fun being an adult. No fun knowing that, oh, if I speed, I'm risking other people's lives, and I'm risking my own life, and it's just kind of messy. So, yeah, it's just no fun, because, yeah, speeding's fun, right? Doing certain things is fun. It takes all the fun out of it if you have to, oh, can't eat that because it tortures animals. Can't eat that because it's fattening. Can't eat that because it's, clogs my arteries. Can't do this, can't do... Yeah, that's no fun. But it's reality, for fuck's sake. Damn it. So, I've said this before. I mean, the real, as bad as the, look, I've always said, the poor suck. They're just a menace. They just consume, and produce nothing. But the rich are worse. And the same is true in the circumstance of idiocracy. The ignorant masses are bad, but the worst perpetrator are the intellectuals who are just running from the responsibility to manage those morons, to farm them properly, to make sure they don't make a mess, they don't get behind the wheel, and drive into buildings. They're not very good drivers. So and they need to be told they're not, and they need to be pinned up. There needs to, you just rationally, if you have a retarded child, you have to put cages and shit around. You have to do shit, because they'll just make a mess if you don't. They'll destroy the world they're trying to live in, because they're idiots. Well, if they were destroying the world, then I'd be okay with that. But point is they just end up causing a bunch of unnecessary harm, and that's the thing. That's the bad thing. Everything else can't be bad until it's creating unnecessary harm. So nothing's really a bad thing until you tie a bunch of unnecessary harm to it. Then it's bad. So... yeah, it's just very depressing that we can't count on smart people. They're not going to be any help, because somehow the faculty of logic is not made immune to bullshit by information. See, I think it is, just because it was for me. Information is what, yeah, okay, I'm fucked. I got to admit, I'm a selfish asshole. Yep, truth. I'm a conniver. Oh, yep, that's the truth. It's just facts. I mean, there's a point where you say, oh, yeah, that's, if I'm going to be this honest thing, like an intellectual, I'm going to be intellectually honest. Oh, yeah, I have to admit that, yes, I've done things, I've wished bad things on people for petty reasons. I've never keyed cars or done anything malicious. I just mean that I have had, I've been petty in my, like Jimmy Carter says, I've been petty in my heart. I mean, I haven't acted petty in the world, but I just mean that I have thought about it. I had petty thoughts. And there frankly is a big difference, right? I mean, it's a little bit different to imagine cheating on your wife and then actually cheating. You know, there's a big difference. You know, the imagination can't give you herpes and doesn't get you falling in love or attached and doesn't get you into a whole drama. So, you know, imagination is kind of harmless in that sense. Where, you know, doing it in reality is quite potentially harmful. Yeah. So, yeah, it's just a so thing. This is just so bad. We're just so fucked. It's such a long road to Tipperary. You know, just it's tough to imagine. You know that you have to do more than just make a good argument. You have to do more than just be rational and present facts. Here's the facts: 1, 2, 3, 4. Yes, the oil was put in the ground over millions of years. It's a bunch of carbon that was sunk and trapped, and now we released it. Yeah, I mean, it's just a rational argument. You can't, you know. And these whole conspiracy theories. I mean, there's only 10 million pieces of evidence that the moon landing was real. You know, and you can't get away from it just because, well, there's a coincidental photo, right? One of those little unusual events happens where, you know, the guy is reflected in a piece of bent glass, and it's 3 reflections off 3 pieces of glass, and so it does and it makes him look like he has alien antenna or something. Yeah. So what? It's not real evidence of anything. It's one little piece of weirdness, and you don't jump at every piece of weirdness and say UFO. That's stupid. Every time you hear a noise outside, you don't go Sasquatch. But that's the knee-jerk that people have. They just look for any excuse to go on bizarre conspiracy tangents. You know, turn it all into Alice in Wonderland bullshit. Very discouraging. So, I'll say so again. So. Yeah, maybe that'll be the title of the video. So, yeah. So, yeah. What do you do? How do you? What's you know? Yeah. All you can do. You're here. You got to fight. Giving up is losing. So, no point in doing that till you have to, right? The board's still here. The pieces are still here. Yeah, traction. You're not making any traction. You're not getting no houses and no hotels, and you don't got much property, and you know it doesn't look too promising. The game looks like it's just gonna eat you out and spit you out, and you're gonna be out of the game. There ain't gonna be no game. But yeah, like I said, you got to be in it to win it. Which such a dangerous phrase now. I hate that they stole that for the lottery. Because lotteries are another evil thing, you know. It's just so funny how people celebrate this evil waste. This insanely stupid waste. And especially how it wastes money. Because obviously the desperate cling to this hope. And it's just so criminal to give people hope and then pull that rug out from under them. You know. And to take advantage of the fact that they're not smart enough to know they can't afford to buy hope at this price. They're wasting way too much of their resources. They can't take care of their kids because they wasted the money on lottery tickets. And people celebrate this sham. This stupid sham. This delusion. One winner. 47 million losers. They say, cool. I mean, if we had an Olympics that actually, you know, required people to do a little bit of work to get into it, and they had to pay a little entrance fee and all this crap, and you get, you know, one winner for 47 million losers. Come on, that's really dumb. And the fact that our culture can't say, no, we're not going to support this shit. We're not going We're not going to make this a news story. Show it on every news channel. Get a lottery ticket. It's $10 zillion. It's just so fucking back-assward stupid. Just, harm all these people. Take a little nick of skin off of all of them for no good reason. Expose them to infection. Because realistically, some of these people will actually be ruined by it. It's like the shiny casino. It's a mortuary. Okay, that's what you should see. All that glitter, all that light, it's a mortuary. It will kill people. It ruined their lives and kill them because you built that stupid building. If you didn't build that building, there would be people walking the earth with normal lives. Their kids wouldn't be fucked up. Their wife wouldn't be a crack whore. I mean, a whole bunch of drama would have never happened to people. They wouldn't become alcoholics. This wouldn't happen. That. Why do why do people glorify this shit? And I'm not saying you need draconian laws against shit, but I'm just saying, why celebrate it? Shouldn't the intellectuals at least be able to say, damn, I wish people wouldn't fucking admire nonsense and shit. Why are they celebrating fundamentally evil vice? Just stuff that doesn't do anybody any good. And it's like that on the internet. People celebrate their drinking. Fake Sagan does it. I gotta have a beer, Like alcohol has done anybody any good ever. The only people who are supposed to be drinking according to the Bible are the poor people. Because they need the delusionary comfort of being unconscious. And vomiting in the street. It's nothing to celebrate. It's a bad thing that humans do. It's a dumb vice. It's not something to celebrate. It's not something to say is cool. It's not something to make stylish. It's something to just recognize that, well, that doesn't do civilization any good. Civilization will not be made great by the drunks. It just won't. So if you can get along without it, good idea. Just like getting along without the extra helping of beef burger, or the extra helping of lard. All that stuff will do you good and do society good. And instead of promoting that somewhere on the internet, nobody. It's just this tiny little fraction of humanity who ever says anything rational on these subjects. And the rest of them are just screaming pigs, just saying nothing matters. Who cares? My beer has gold around the letters beer. It's really cool. I mean, hopeless. It's really just so bad. So, what else is there to say? So I have thought about this week. I was thinking about the old, I made some economic videos where I attempted to explain to people certain facts about how the economy, what money is, the fact that we're not printing money, we're printing debt, the fact that the people who own the debt are the banks and the rich people, and this is how they rent us the world. And every time somebody goes to the bank to get a loan to bid on a house, they're just screwing everybody else because they're just bidding with borrowed money. So they're bidding with rental contracts, so if it wasn't for the rich man's surplus that he's willing to give to poor idiots to outbid each other, the price of everything would be dirt cheap. But the problem with that is we've made the rich so rich that they'd still just buy everything and directly rent it to us. They like to rent it to us through some bank mechanism that guarantees them a nice steady increase without having to worry about actually being a landlord. They don't want the responsibilities of being a landlord. They just want the profit of being a landlord. And that's the system we've created, and it's just horrible. Let the bank be the landlord. Let the bank worry about it. As it collects twice the price for the house, as it extracts value out of the working man, you know, who has to pay twice as much for everything, while the rich pay half as much, and certainly pay half as much taxes. So bad. And so you can go through it and you explain to people how this works. This is how the system works, okay? This is what they've done. I mean, it's like the FDIC insurance thing. You know, I went over it, and nobody really gets it. But there is no FDIC insurance. It's gone. They used it up. They destroyed it as a system. So if you think your money's somehow safe, it's not even close. It's dead. It's dead money. If there's a crisis, there's no FDIC insurance. They have $20 billion in a fund covering $7 trillion in assets. You think that's going to work? You think that has any chance of working? No. They're going to tell you, no, you can have your money, you know, like 5 years. Give us 5 years to pay you. Okay? It's no big deal. 5 years. Who cares, right? You have to wait till the depression's over, you know, to get your money. Can't have it now. Can't have it now while you're starving because, yeah, you know, we don't got it. So you can't have it. So wait till the dollars are worth, you know, a millipenny. So when your dollar will be worth a millipenny, then I'll give you back your money. Yeah. So I'll give you back your $50,000, and it will be able to buy you half a piece of gum. But that's how the system's gonna happen. That's how it's gonna play out. I mean, it's overtly broken right in our faces. People are pretending, oh, it's fine, everything will work. We keep just borrowing money, that'll work fine. Just borrow, 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 borrow. Forever and ever. It works out fine. No problem. Until there's a problem. Then there's a problem. Alright, well, anyway. Don't want to get in that subject, but I just mean you can lay out the facts and people just ignore them. I just pretend they're not facts. There's $1.9 trillion in circulation. That's all, just $1.9 trillion, right? There's $27 trillion worth of debt, but there's only $1.9 trillion of actual money in the economy. And they'll keep saying, the government keeps printing money. No, it doesn't. It's only $1.9 trillion. They're still printing too much, but I mean, it's a tiny fraction. They're only printing a couple of 100,000 a year. You know, they're not dumping, you know, billions of dollars into the economy. Well, theoretically, it's probably $1 billion a year or $2 billion, some kind of billion number, but I mean, it's not trillions, not even close. But anyway, you can go through all the gimmicks. The Federal Reserve, it's a gimmick. Federal Reserve didn't print money. They told the banks to buy our bonds with the bank checks. And they just said, look, I understand your books will say you spent $1 trillion on bonds and you don't have any cash for that. We'll just ignore the fact that you're bankrupt because of it. And when everything goes bad, we'll give you back the money. Don't worry about it. We'll give you back the money. And so they have this $4 trillion in the reserve accounts that isn't really the bank's money because, frankly, we told them not to spend it. You know, and because they can't put it into the economy because they'll fuck the economy. There's 1.9 trillion in circulation. I mean, obviously they can't just spend 4 trillion. They can't quadruple the amount of cash in the economy. So obviously it's never leaving those accounts. But how are we going to pay it back? We got 2 trillion coming in a year and we got 4 trillion of debt just in the reserve accounts. So what if there's a crisis? How does the money get paid back? Oh, that's right, it can't be. So we'll have to tell the banks, well, you have to wait a couple of years, 5, 10, you know, no big deal. And we'll give you back the money in, you know, millipenny money, you know, $1,000,000. So bad. So every system, every part of our lives, it seems that we got all these people who seem like they should be bus drivers. I mean, like a fake Sagan. Seems like he should be able to drive his own brain rationally. You know, he seems on the surface to have the proper suit, and you know, he's got his little, you know, a certification thing. And he's got a little ID badge, and you know, clean, and you know, he's got his hair appropriate, and he's got his glasses on, and you know, like he's ready to, he's got those driving gloves on, he's like he's ready to drive a bus. But he's like, no, he puts on frickin' unicorn glasses and just drives it into the frickin' right off the cliff. I mean, not even close to the road, not even close to the facts where they're pointing. They're just saying, how does this happen? How do people how can they look like they're mentally prepared to be rational? Like they have I went to college. Yeah, I read some Nietzsche. I did this, I did that. I got a bit of taste of this and a taste of that. And it doesn't seem to give them any immunity from chasing magic frogs, you know. And they just go off chasing a magic frog because they think it ate a fairy godmother. And so if they catch the magic frog and they squeeze it, the fairy godmother will pop out and give them 3 wishes. How'd they fall for that? Shit. They didn't look insane. So again, so that's my new lament word of the day, I guess. That's my lament word of the day. So, you know, you're just stuck with an incomplete sentence. So where do I go from here? So how do I fight this frickin' brain eating disease, this logic eating disease? It's obviously turning everybody into idiocracy zombies, you know, that are chasing magical brains. They think brains are acorns. They think brains are, you know, shiny rocks. I mean, they're retarded zombies. You know, you know, it's just so bad. I mean, oh, the magical god, you know, who sits on his throne, you know, just being a nasty bastard. Oh, yes, of course, that's what the universe made. The first thing the universe did was make an insanely psychotic, rapey god. Yeah, that's the first thing it did. What? Huh. How could somebody fall for that story? Oh, damn. And then the gods sat around forever, okay, to figure out how to make humans who craved knowledge and had a will to improve themselves to become godlike. And this minute they attempted to do any of that shit, he called it failure and then drowned them all. So it took him forever, right? For an infinite amount of time, God had to contemplate it, and that was his brilliant idea. I'll make human beings, I'll give them insanely stupid contradictory desires, and when they fail, I'll just kill them all. Except for, you know, one family, one privileged family. And, you know, and then I'll send one of the sons to hell because he saw, you know, the 900-year-old naked penis. Oh yeah, that just makes so much fucking sense. How could you not be compelled by that logic? It's just so logical and sensible that that's how it happened. That's the truth. Sure, it's the truth. Fuck. So anyway. So yes, just yeah, I'm just stuck with it. Sorry. It's all I fall back on is quitting is losing. So that's it. Quitting is losing. So fuck that. I'm not going to lose until I have to. There. Simple answer. So yeah. So I'm here. I'll fight. And I'll just concede. Oh shit, do I have a fight on my hands? This is, you know, Davy versus 10 million Goliaths. This is like Lord of the Rings impossible. Oh, there's 300 of us and there's 10,000 of them. And somehow we're going to have to, like, hack all their heads off so well that they never even stab us or anything. We're going to have to be insanely Jedi. I mean, we're going to have to be so fucking brilliant that we somehow just, every single battle, we just seem to hack the guy's head off before he can get to us at all. You know, we got to somehow be so brilliant. Every move has to be, it's like Kill Bill or something, right? I mean, we're going to just have to be Kill Bill brilliant. You know, I don't think that's realistic, frankly. You know, all those those movies, not very realistic. But none of them are. Every single one of them is just such horseshit. Machine guns. None of the bullets ever hit anybody. You're just like, what the fuck? How can people be such bad shots? Doesn't make any sense. No. So I have no hope to offer. Just guilt. All I can say is don't give up, because losers suck, especially willful ones. If you got any stomach for it at all, I mean, I'm not saying torture yourself. I'm just saying, if you got any kind of, all right, I can do another day. I can do another day. You know, be a Rocky. Yeah, be like Rocky. You know. Getting strong now, all that crap. Yeah. Get strong. You know, do the best you can. You know, it's all, you know. And maybe someday, over the rainbow, things will be better and shit. But that's the tragic part. We're just trying to avoid torture. So someday over the rainbow, there won't be anything good, but there just won't be anything bad. So it'll be really great not to have all that bad shit. Yeah, that's really all we got. Oh, that's a fairly decent looking fellow there. Yeah, fairly decent. The last of my golden years. All turned to shit soon. This aging thing is no good. Yeah, it's just another part of the why this parade sucks. You know, it's that you have to march it as you get old and crippled, and then, I have to march in the parade. Fuck this shit. Alright, well, that's not a very good picture there. I'm doofy. Yeah. Look, I'm doing a doofy walk. It's funny. I think it's a little bit funny. It's funny about pictures. You know, I think it is fascinating how dramatically different they can be. It's the same person, right? And it's like you can take two pictures and one is just horrible, you know, and the other one is like, wow, that's like perfect. And you're like, how does that, you know, it's just really interesting to see how big a huge a difference it is in terms of the perception and sort of reality that is that to people, right? Because one person sees the reality and sees this, you know, well-constructed thing, sturdy building, blah, blah, blah. And the other person sees a shithole, a garbage smells, a garbage... And it's just amazing that it's the same thing, and yet somehow, the little subtle different beliefs, the little subtle different methods of perception have turned it into completely different things. You know, doofy versus sensible and solid, you know, that kind of thing. Man, just the way it is. How the vagaries of perception, which is a way of capturing an image, you know, and it's the same kind of thing. You capture it in a circumstance. Some people capture their image of reality in their childhood and say everything's going to be all right because I believe in the frog and the Bambis and the, you know, Thumpers and all the happy characters, and everything will be okay. Or somebody else gets a perception of reality where, you know, they get raped and pillaged and, abused and blah, blah, blah. And so yes, they have this different image that they capture of the same world. But again, that's sort of because the camera's in a very different place, so some of that you could understand. I mean, obviously you could take a picture, well, obviously you could take a picture of all kinds of angles that obviously aren't going to be very flattering, and other angles, from a distance, rainbows over them, that are going to be, that are going to make it look like something it ain't. So it all depends on the picture, right? I've seen pictures of the Eiffel Tower like that. Like one picture, it looks like an ugly antenna, just horrible. And then this other picture, it looks like this artistic piece of geometry, blah, 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 blah. And it's just where you take the picture from. What angle, what day, what kind of lighting, what kind of, makes all the difference. So anyway, I don't know if that's directly related to this in any way, but I just thought I'd throw it in since it occurred to me. And such. But that's sort of, I think that's enough. I don't need to, I could drag it out for 10 more minutes, but I'd just be forcing it. I don't really have some other theme besides this idea that it's unfortunate how many people, even the ones who get the right answer on some of the questions, are getting the right answers for the wrong reasons. They guessed, or, they like C's, and it just happened that the right answers were number C, letter C more often than B or A. Some dopey reason they're getting the right answers, but they're the right answers for all the wrong reasons. And, that ain't what the world needs. That's not what the victims need. They need a hero. And heroes aren't right for the wrong reason. Heroes need to be solid. They need to be men of iron and shit. They need to, they can't be mushy, impulsive fools. Got to be more. You got to be smart and strong, and smart is the key word. They got to have their information properly arranged, so they're seeing the truth. So they're not, thinking there's somebody tied to the railroad tracks, and it's really just a barberry bush, growing in between the tracks. Some kind of stupid thing like that. Can't be fooled. Yeah, something like that. Alright, so I think that's, I think I'll just give up. Say that's all that I got for a video. And, till the next time when I'll attempt to gain perspective, provide some if I can, and just try to talk about how I'm trying to manage understanding what the right moves are here in this game from this position. We're on this board in this position. What's the right move from here? How do we affect change when the stupid are too stupid to be on your side, and you can't get enough of the intellectuals to be on your side because they're too stupid. And the only way to win this war is to create policy and law, and to create the opportunity for the new generation to be raised with a dose of the truth, and free of their propagandizing, optimism bias, moronic parents, kind of a thing. So they don't fall into this fake Sagan trap of running back to their youthful delusions. The house that mommy built, the house of bullshit. Everything'll be alright. Might not be all wrong, but it won't be anywhere close to all right. It won't be acceptable, won't be satisfactory, it won't be good enough. It'll be a form of failure. And we're smart enough to know failing is not a good thing. Oh, there, I look pretty dumpy there. It's too big a shirt, sweaty, blah, blah, blah. Yuck. Let's wait for another better picture. Don't want to end on a, whatever that is. A bum. Yeah, bum. Yeah. So, hope for something more encouraging. I don't think there's any rainbows in here, but we'll see what we get. Come on. Any minute now. Ah, there, that's nice. Little sun in the back, fluffy hair, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, that's acceptable. Alright, so, till the next time, when I will do something similar and blah, 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 as the routine progresses. And hopefully, I'm getting closer and closer to, you know, whatever, little power food or something like a Pac-Man. I'm just almost got some power thingies, and you know, maybe we'll get somewhere. We'll see. I remain guardedly I remain trapped and will continue to play as good a game as I can because I really don't have a choice. So that's what I'll do. Anyway, till next time when I attempt to play some more good a game as I can. Oh, there's a pretty little picture there. Look at that. Nice little funguses. Ah, so peaceful and non-violent. Yes. Playing with the lichen. They're playing together. La 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 la. Okay, anyway. Till next time.